Have you ever met people where, after just a few sentences, you already understand everything about them? Their level of thinking, worldview, even their philosophy of life. It doesn't take much to recognize a foolish person. Simply listening is enough, because when a wise person is silent, you feel their depth. When a foolish person speaks, you feel the emptiness. In this video, we will talk about 8 typical phrases that immediately reveal you are facing a foolish person. If you've heard these words, be cautious. According to Stoic philosophy, he who argues with the foolish has descended to their level. Let's see which sentences these people expose themselves with. But before we dive in, I'd appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're ready, let's begin. We all know that language is a tool for communication between people. But there's another truth. The way we speak reveals who we are. Of course, everyone speaks according to their own thoughts and worldview. That's why just 3-4 minutes of listening to someone is often enough to understand the kind of person they are. Foolish people in particular use thoughts that immediately reveal them. So which sentences do they use? The first phrase commonly used by fools is, "I know everything." This sentence marks the stopping point of a person's intellectual development. The moment someone stops learning, they begin to regress. In the mind of someone who thinks they know everything, doors close, no new ideas, insights, or perspectives can enter. A wise person, no matter how much they know, always has an inner voice saying, "I still have much to learn." This simple sentence reflects their growth, humility, and continuous development. A foolish person, however, tries to show off even the little they know. For them, it's not about learning, it's about appearing right. They want the last word in every argument, to appear as an expert in every topic. But such people forget one thing. Speaking does not make you wise, listening does. Asking questions, being curious, and thinking, these are true intelligence. Because the one who asks questions is still seeking answers, and the one seeking answers grows. Stoics said, "True knowledge begins with acknowledging your own ignorance." This profound statement is not just philosophy, it is a way of life. Only the person who can say, "I don't know," is truly capable of learning. Anyone who claims to know everything is in reality the one who understands the least, because they have already stopped learning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "He who thinks himself wise will refuse to learn." True wisdom lies in silence, observation, and the constant search for new understanding. Look around. Who is always talking and who quietly listens and thinks? Often, those who are silent are the ones who know the most, because they understand that the path of learning never ends. The second phrase used by fools, "I am the way I am. I can't change." At first glance, this sentence may sound sincere, as if the person is accepting themselves as they are. But in reality, it is often a mask for pride. When someone says, "I am the way I am," they often mean, "I won't work on myself. I won't fix my flaws. I won't take responsibility for my toxic behaviors." Every person must change. Life itself is built on change. Seasons change, days change, emotions change. Even your cells renew themselves every few months. Only a stubborn mind remains unchanged, and that is where decline begins. The Stoics said, "Nature flows, and we should flow with it." A foolish person struggles against the current, while a wise person understands the flow and grows with it. Change is not a weakness, it is courage. Because to change, a person must leave behind their old self. This is not easy, as that old self has been nurtured for years with excuses and habits. But without letting go of the old version, the new one cannot emerge. A person who says, "I am the way I am, I can't change," is like someone standing on the deck of a sinking ship, saying, "I won't move from here." The sea pulls, the waves shift, yet they stubbornly stand until eventually the water consumes them. Change is like choosing a new direction. It can be frightening because you leave a familiar harbor. But remember, no ship is built to remain in the harbor. Life gives you a choice every day. Either you grow or you get stuck in the same place. And often the difference between these two paths is hidden in a single sentence. Instead of saying, "I can't change," say, "I want to change." The third phrase, "My opinion is right. Everyone else is wrong." This sentence is the voice of ego, not intellect. A person's mind seeks truth, but the ego seeks to be right. A wise person listens, understands, and then responds. A foolish person does not listen. They merely wait to reply. Their goal is not understanding, but winning. For them, a discussion is not a conversation, but a battle for dominance. But thinking differently is not hostility. It is the foundation of growth. Only someone who thinks differently can challenge your ideas. This challenge either strengthens you or reveals the true face of truth. The Stoics said, "Just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean you are wrong." This idea creates a wise balance. You cannot see the world from only one perspective. Everyone sees through the prism of their own experiences, pain, and beliefs. Sometimes your truth is just the light of your own side. Ego cannot accept this. Ego always wants to be right. It sees admitting mistakes as losing. But in reality, the person who acknowledges their mistake does not lose. They become free. Because someone who recognizes their error can change, grow, and improve. A person who resists to appear right drowns in their own version of truth. Remember, a disagreement is not an attack on you. It is a mirror that sharpens your thinking. If an idea unsettles you, it has touched a weak point. And perhaps there lies room for growth. A wise person listens not to silence the other, but to learn from them. Every person's story contains a piece of truth, even if it differs from yours. Weak minds cannot tolerate different perspectives, but strong minds seek wisdom even in opposing views. True wisdom is being able to stand by your own opinion without dismissing another's. Thus you learn to think correctly, not just to be right. The fourth phrase used by fools, "I don't have time." This is a sentence many of us use often. It sounds as if life's speed is pressing on us. Time is slipping away, and all we can do is watch. But behind these words lies a truth. The problem of someone who says, "I don't have time," is not a lack of time, it's a lack of priorities. A foolish person spends so much time on trivial matters that nothing important gets done. They dedicate every minute to others' demands, meaningless chatter and unnecessary worries. And at the end of the day, they wonder, "I ran so much, but what did I achieve?" A wise person, on the other hand, values time. They understand that time is more precious than money, status, or even health. Lost money can be regained, but a lost minute cannot be recovered. For the Stoics, time was sacred. Seneca wrote, "People protect their wealth but give away their time to everyone." He said that many complain about the shortness of life, yet in reality they waste it on meaningless things. "I don't have time" is in fact a signal. It shows that chaos reigns in your life, because a calm and orderly person knows where their time goes. They live each day consciously, deciding what to do and what to refuse. For the Stoics, order is the tranquility of the soul. A life without order is like a storm. Everything is chaotic and peace is absent. Such a person runs constantly, but never reaches anywhere. Their energy is scattered, their attention divided, and their purpose lost. Sometimes when someone says, "I don't have time," what they really mean is, This is not important to me. A wise person recognizes this and does not waste their time on meaningless things. They understand that every yes they give is a refusal of another valuable no. If something is truly important to you, you will find the time. The issue is not time, and it is willpower. A foolish person always finds an excuse, but a wise person always finds a way. Remember, time is a silent teacher. It waits for no one, yet it gives lessons to everyone. Those who understand this lesson learn to manage their life and choose what truly matters. Thus, one day, instead of saying, "I don't have time," you ask yourself, "What am I spending my time on?" And in that moment, clarity and calm enter your life. No one understands me. This sentence sounds familiar, doesn't it? It is the fifth phrase used by fools. Many people use it as a kind of shield. But behind this shield there is often ego. When someone says, "No one understands me," they really mean, "I am different from others. I see things more deeply." Sometimes, this sentence is uttered when others do not validate them. People may understand them, but they refuse to accept their pride. For a wise person, being understood or not is irrelevant. They know that a person's value is not in others' recognition, but in the purity of intention. If your intention is pure, it no longer matters who understands you. You know your path and you walk it calmly and faithfully. A foolish person, however, wants everyone to think at their level. They cannot accept people with different opinions, feelings, or perspectives. For them, being understood means being validated. But the world owes you no validation. The world only gives you the arena to show yourself and grow. The Stoics express this idea simply but profoundly. Do not be upset with those who do not understand you, for they belong not to you, but to the depth of their own level. This represents both restraint and inner freedom. Once you realize this, the need for others' approval disappears. Just because someone does not understand you does not mean you are wrong. It simply means they have not yet reached that stage, just as it is difficult to explain the depths of mathematics to a child. Sometimes spiritual or moral understanding cannot be grasped by everyone at the same time. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone criticizes you and you know your intention is right, remain calm." Silence is sometimes the clearest explanation. Carrying anger toward those who do not understand you only drains your energy. Remaining calm requires strength. But this is the strength of the soul. No one is obligated to understand you, but you are obligated to understand yourself. Remember, if you are on the right path, sometimes you will be alone, and sometimes misunderstood. This is not loneliness. It is a sign of inner elevation. Deep people are rare, and only the deep can understand depth. I don't like it, so it must be bad. This is the sixth phrase used by foolish people. It represents the pinnacle of subjective thinking and a trap for the mind. This idea is based not on understanding, but on judgment. A foolish person sees everything in two colors. I like it and I don't like it. They simplify the complexity of life into two boxes. But life is not that simple. Life has black, white, and countless shades in between. A wise person tries to understand before evaluating. They do not immediately label something they dislike as bad. Instead, they ask, "Why don't I like this? Is it truly worthless, or is my perspective limited?" In Stoic thought, such a sentence is an open manifestation of bias. Bias takes one away from truth. When you reject something based on feelings, you may lose a valuable lesson. A foolish person says, "I don't like it," and misses the growth it offers. A wise person understands that feelings are changeable. What displeases you today may become tomorrow the most important decision of your life. You may not like someone at first glance, but over time, you can see the depth of their character. Similarly, an event that troubles you now may later shape you in the most important way. A foolish person does not see this depth. They react emotionally to everything and then become a prisoner of their decisions. It is like throwing a stone into the sea in anger. By the time your feelings subside, the stone has long sunk to the depths. The Stoics taught that life must be filtered through reason, not emotions, because feelings are like fog, temporary and changeable. But reason is like the sun. It clears the fog, letting you see clearly again. If you immediately label something as bad, pause and ask, maybe I don't like this because it challenges me to grow. Often, the things we dislike the most are the lessons that grow us the most. Remember, not all truths are pleasant, but the unpleasant ones often set you free. A wise person knows the world is not obliged to suit your taste, but you are obliged to understand the world. The seventh phrase used by fools is, I think everyone is like me. This statement is a mistake born of naivety. Sometimes a person believes that the world is measured by their own perspective. A foolish person assumes that everyone sees as they see, thinks as they think, and feels as they feel. But reality is never that simple. Measuring the world only by your own experiences and feelings is one of the greatest errors. You can never fully understand what happens to another person, because everyone looks through the prism of their own life. Sometimes what seems trivial to you may be a matter of life or death to someone else, or the opposite. What is important to you may be meaningless to another. The Stoics said, everyone sees according to the measure of their own mind. This idea teaches both restraint and tolerance. Behaviors that seem incomprehensible or irritating to you mostly come from the other person's worldview. They are listening not to you, but to their own thoughts. Therefore, arguing with such people is pointless. The more you try to change them, the more you drain your own energy. A foolish person listens not to your argument, but to their own biased world. A wise person, however, stays calm, understanding that everyone moves within their own sphere. This leads not to loneliness, but to inner freedom, because you are no longer trying to change others. Your task is to keep your own thoughts clear and direct your intentions rightly. Remember, you can create clarity in your own world, but you cannot force someone else's world to conform to yours. Everyone is different, and everyone is obliged to live within the prism of their own life. The more you accept this difference, the more calm and wise you become. Finally, the eighth phrase used by fools, I still have time. I'll do it later. The foolish person constantly relies on this excuse, not now, later. They never fully understand the value of time because the future always seems comfortable and empty, but later often never comes. A wise person thinks differently. They know that every step taken now lays the foundation for the future. If you do not act now, opportunities in the future slip away one by one. Every day that passes is gone forever and cannot be recovered. The Stoics express this idea simply but powerfully. The future is merely a continuation of the present. Therefore, live rightly now. They understood that people constantly saying later waste their most precious resource, their time. Time owes nothing to anyone. It moves forward every day and no one can reclaim it. Think how many laters in your life have already passed. Those days, hours, and minutes will never return. The foolish person ignores this, but the wise person values every opportunity. Saying, I still have time, often creates a false sense of security. It comforts, but in reality it slows the spirit. Life is full of surprises. No one knows what the future holds. The later you are waiting for may never come. A wise person understands that acting now is both wisdom and freedom. A small step taken today can make a huge difference in the future. A book read now A word written, a task done, a moment experienced. All of it weaves the fabric of your life. Remember, I still have time is just an excuse. Life waits for no one, delays nothing, and no later is truly waiting for you. If you do not act now, later becomes nothing but lost time. For the Stoics, the lesson was clear. Live now, learn now, work now. For only now belongs to you. This is your freedom and your wisdom. Act now, because the future is only a continuation of the present. Every moment you delay with later is a moment of your life lost. Now, this is your most valuable time. From all this, we can conclude the greatest weapon of a foolish person is talking, and talking according to their own limited thoughts. The greatest strength of a wise person is silence. So if someone around you uses these phrases, know for sure that they are foolish. Do not argue with them or try to debate. You will not reach a result, and you will waste your valuable time. In the end, you will likely be blamed anyway. Therefore, like this video and share it with your friends so they also know the key phrases that make up a full speech. And don't forget to subscribe, because the journey ahead of us is still long. See you in the next video.